谢谢Catherine 阿姨带领我们的这次自觉的体验。我不晓得这个观众朋友们在体验过程当中有什么样的感受？你们感觉到了手心或者头顶的感觉是什么样哈？也可以跟我们来分享。但是不管怎么样，我们看见Catherine 阿姨刚才也说了，就是我们不要去纠结啊，是凉的还是热的哈，还是说没有，或者说是什么样子，这个并不重要，就是我们获得自觉，这是一个非常自然而然的过程。
So thank you for the experience of self-realization. I don't know how the audience feel about it. Also, you can put on your feedback in words, and we can share. So it's as Auntie said, it's fine if you don't feel curious right now. You just sit down with meditation, and it will happen naturally.
刚才有观众朋友们来，有在屏幕上有做了提问哈，我觉得他提问问题的非常好。因为刚才我们就是之后有一个非常简短的几分钟的冥想，刚才有观众朋友们就问我们，就是冥想的时候，我们注意力放在什么地方？是放在头顶之上啊，还是放在什么？能不能请这个阿姨还是大叔来回答？
We get a question from the audience. She's asking, when we do the meditation, which place we should put our attention? It's must above the head or any point on the body?
When we meditate, as we sit before Shri Mataji, we should not get into a concentration. We should let go. We surrender ourselves to her, and our Kundalini will take us to the Sahasrara. You can, to help yourself, put your palm here on the Sahasrara and massage and try to keep your attention without, there should not be tension above the head, and let the Kundalini work.
当我们去冥想的时候，我们不应该处在一种控制注意力的一种状态，不应该是一种强制性的专注，我们不应该处在紧张之中，而是在希伦马塔吉女士的照片前面，我们去静坐，我们是一个臣服的心，完全的交托臣服的状态。我们可以用手掌去按摩一下头顶的位置，把注意力很自然的带到那里。我们不用很紧张，我们应该放下，然后让空达尼里，让生命能量来工作。
So in addition, it may be also useful to remember that meditation is not an activity. It's not something that we do.
我补充一句，那冥想并不是某种活动，不是要去做一件什么事情，不是去做某个事情。
Meditation is a state of our awareness that we can only enter into by the rising of that energy that we call Kundalini, and that connects us, and then we are just there. So it's not like you have to concentrate on something.
所以它不是某件事情，它不是某种控制注意力的事情，它是一种意识状态。这种意识状态的达到，只能通过我们称之为空达尼尼的生命能量的提升。当它达到与我们叫整体大有，或者说叫道的一种联合连接的时候，我们就让它在那里。
And it's a becoming. We have to be patient with ourselves.
这是一个成为的过程，一个显现为、成长为的过程。我们需要对自己充满耐心。
Our Kundalini is going to clear our energy center one by one. And at the beginning, her strength is like compared to a baby. It's soft, it's gentle, it's very fragile. That's why regular meditation nourishes her. And over time, she will grow stronger and more effective. But for that, a little bit of discipline with trying to meditate at least once a day is a good remedy.
在这个过程当中，其实是空达尼尼生命能量会接近我们的每一个轮穴，但是在这个过程当中，一开始我们说生命能量它好像一个刚出生不久的婴儿一样，它的力量非常温和，但力量并不是很大。我们需要每一天的冥想来滋养它，每一天的冥想来保存它、滋养它、去增强它。在这个时候，你其实是需要约束一下自己的，你要规定自己每天至少冥想一次，通过这样很久的努力，让你的力量增强。到后面来的时候，你的空达尼的力量会越来越强大。
Sorry，有很多的这个瑜伽的练习者因为我们它称之为是就是冥想练习者或者是沙加瑜伽练习者。那有一个观众朋友就在说，就是我们这个练习哈，那最核心的练习到底是什么？因为两位这个大叔和阿姨都是有40几年的这个冥想者，那最核心的是什么？这也是一个观众朋友们提的问题。
There's a question from yogis. From a yogis, he's asking, what is the most important work we should do? The daily work we should do. Which one is the most important? Because both of you have more than 40 years meditation experience. Could you share some trick or some key point for us about the daily meditation?
Herbert, go.
Well, it is a very relevant question, and whoever asked the question, you are not the only one asking it. So I think the best way I can help you is to say Sahaja Yoga is an individual journey. It's not like Catherine's journey, not like my journey, it's your journey. And you will find out exactly what you need to do once you surrender to that movement of the Kundalini and you enter into that state of silence that we call thoughtless awareness. Because as long as you're thinking about what to do, you're not in meditation. It's better to be in meditation and let it happen.
这个问题很有趣啊。然后不管是谁问的这个问题，你绝对不是第一个问的人首先我在这里可以分享什么呢？那就是可能我这样说可能会让你稍微放心一点，就是萨哈加瑜伽冥想，它是一个非常个人化的一个路径，它既不是卡什琳阿姨的路，也不是 Herbert 大叔的路，每一个人的道路是不一样的。你将会发现你自己的道路，只要你臣服于力量本身，就是你要去臣服于力量想去做的事情，去臣服于力量本身的运动本身。当你进入到宁静，我们称之为无思虑的路径状态，无思虑的状态，你就不用去想，你不会去想我该去怎么做，而是处在这个宁静之中，让这一切发生。因为当你去想的时候，你就不处在冥想之中，反而你应该让自己处在宁静之中，让力量去做它要做的事情。
And never to forget it's a living process. It's a becoming. I got my realization correctly, as you said, approximately 40 years ago. But every day I'm still looking at myself and I say, down there is still a troublemaker. This there is still not yet what it should. So they are different aspects. What you can do is to learn about the principles which are the king and queens of our centers, which are giving the qualities to which we have to compare ourselves. At the beginning of Saja Yoga, Mataji urged us to read the Ramayana, which is an epic in India describing the life of Sri Ram and Sri Sita. The same with the Mahabharata, but other scripture. Read what Lao Tzu has written, what all these big incarnations which have come all over the world and given knowledge to humankind. Now, they had to be born somewhere. So they have come at a certain time in a certain geographical place. But the essence of their teachings is to be respected and acknowledged worldwide and not geographically limited. And another thing which is very important.
Katrin, maybe you should give some space for the translator. You use such beautiful language, and I hope nothing gets lost.
我们会发现，其实这是一个活生生的过程，就是它是一个生命的旅程，它不是某一句话来说的，它是一个要活出来的一个旅程，它是一个成长生命的过程。你看，我40年前获得自觉，然后，但是我现在依然每天我都会看，你看你是不是又在起反应？你看你是不是这里还是有一些什么不太妥当的地方？我每天都还是会看到自己这里那里有很值得改进的地方。所以我们唯一能做的就是让这些原理，各个能量中心的原理，他们都有每个能量中心都有守护它的王和王后，他们分别代表的原理，我们需要能够彰显它，并让这些轮穴的这些特质能够在生命中呈现出来。我记得在希热马塔吉女士在之前非常强烈的建议我们去读《罗摩传》，那里面讲了罗摩和西塔的人生旅程，他们生命给我们的各个方面的教导。其实不限于这里，我们可以看到，比如说老子，你可以去读这些大宗师，这个全世界范围的大宗师，他们在某一个地区出生，给予全人类知识，它不是局限在某个地区或者某种文化背景的，他们传达的知识是人类普世的一种精神文明，那是我们需要去学习的。
And the other thing is to listen to Shimataji's talks, because her language is transmitting vibration. It works on our subtle system, and it enlightens our awareness, which helps us to see ourselves and correct ourselves, and then let our Kundalini do the work.
还有就是听希热马塔吉女士的讲话，希热马塔吉女士的讲话，她能够转变生命能量，她能够纠正我们，她们能点亮我们的精微能量系统，并纠正我们的错误。所以，让灵量去做她要做的事情吧。
谢谢阿姨的回答。我知道阿姨好像给我们准备了关于能量方面的一些图片和这个你可以再多讲讲这个能量方面，因为这对于我们这个就是中国人来讲，这好像是一个非常陌生的当然 对我来讲哈，就是当我刚开始接触沙家瑜伽的时候，我觉得对这个我也是非常感觉到很好奇、很陌生。两位这个阿姨和她说，能不能在这点，因为好像你们刚才不管是我们的这个凉风也好，都是跟能量，包括刚才我们想要去保持一个无费力的这个就是无思虑的这个冥想，也是让这个能量在工作。那能不能再多说一点？
Dear Auntie, could you please tell us more about the Kundalini? I heard you have prepared some pictures of Kundalini because it's for me also. Personally, I was very interested about it because I didn't hear about it before I went to Sahaja Yoga. And also, I think it's collect a lot about effortless meditation. So could you please share more about Kundalini?
So you want to see the pictures?
你想看那些图片吗？
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to send them. Yeah. What I can say before the picture come as an introduction.
在我们这个展示图片前，我们可以说一点这个简介啊。
We were speaking about the collective unconscious, which is above our sahasrara.
当我们讲这个人类集体潜意识的时候，就是说我们在理论之上的这个意识。
In India, in Sanskrit, this area, it's not a world, but this loka is called the Vaikuntha. No, the Virat.
在梵文当中把这个地方叫 Virat.
And through all mankind, since we can look back in history of mankind, the unconscious has been inspiring people.
其实纵观整个人类的历史，其实整个宇宙的这个集体潜意识，它一直在试着在启迪人类。
Mainly artists who were trying to then depict this archetype of what mankind is looking for.
主要是艺术家他们通过隐喻的方式，呈现出来。
So you have representations of the Kundalini coiled up in 3.5 coils.
所以我们会经常在看到这个3圈半卷曲的这个能量的形态的图片。
From civilization which are pre-Columbian in the Pacific West Coast of the Americas, to places in Ukraine, to places in China.
不管是早期的原始的美洲原住民的文化当中，以及在欧洲大陆，再到古老的中国，我们都可以看到类似的图腾、隐喻图片。
One country where many people linked and enlightened by this collective unconscious was India.
被这个宇宙的人类集体潜意识启迪的，有一个地方显得非常的明显，这样的事情发生了很多，就是在印度这个国家。
So culturally there, the awareness that the Kundalini has to awake and one has to get self-realization is very vivid since 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 years.
大概在6、7千年前，这个片区就已经有关于必须要唤醒能量，能量必须苏醒，人要重生这样的神话传说。
But it's not limited to India.
但不局限于恒河地区。
We have representation of the Kundalini or the tree of life, which is this representation of our subtle system in Egypt.
不仅是在这个区域，然后还有其他文化以生命之树，比如说在一些古吉普赛的这些文化当中，可以看到这样图片的隐喻。
With the Greeks, with the Celts, let go, please.
在古希腊文化当中，也同样会看到在雕塑当中。
We have realized painters like Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, who have depicted the awakening of the Kundalini, which Christ gave to the apostles.
我们可以在一些开悟的艺术家，比如米开朗基罗、达芬奇，他们的画作当中可以看到，圣灵给予求道者，头顶明亮的这些画作。
So here we have an example. This is Athena, the Greek goddess. This.
我们看这个雅典娜的。
You go too fast. On her shield.
雅典娜，我们看一下这个雅典娜的一个古希腊雕像，一个雅典娜的雕像。
On her shield, you see the serpent representing the Kundalini because she moves like a serpent, the Kundalini, when she goes up. Very often, the Kundalini is represented as a serpent.
我们可以看到，以它一个卷曲向上的一个形态，呈现了明亮的身体。
Then you have the three energies coming out of her head.
好，我们可以看到她头顶上有这个生命之树的能量，就是在头顶绽放。
So we can go to the next picture. Meanwhile, I try to find them here, where I
好，我们
have.
看下一个，
Yeah, this is a pottery of the Egyptians. So it is approximately 4,000 years. Again, you see the spiral, the coil of the Kundalini, which is in its sleepent state. Then by the handle, you have waves. It's not very clear on this reproduction, but the waves again, it's the serpent movement of the Kundalini. Next
我们可以
one.
看到，我们可以看到在4000年的这个陶土罐上，可以看到这是沉睡的力量的一个图画。其实还能够看到一些细小的波浪纹，那是能量传达的一种，就是这种能量震动的一个形式。我们看下一幅。
Next one.
下一幅。
Okay, this one, wait, I have to find it here. This is a pre-Columbian jewel. So it is approximately 2,000 years old. And again, you have the coil.
我们再次在2000年出土的这个2000年前这个的物件上也看到了这个卷曲的生命能量的图画。
And what is to be said? At that time, there was no internet, there was no traveling, but the civilization mostly cut one from the other in different times, partly thousands of years separated from each other. All have the same inspirations, and then they depict it in their way of expressing. Now,
我们可以看到这些文明在几千年前是没有形成互相交流的这个条件的，但是他们都在各自的文化领域，在以自己的文化的传达方式里面，在表达类似的启迪。
So here right picture is Celtic. So this is Middle European, West European, the British Isle. I don't know exactly where it was found, but it's Celtic. And this is maybe the Celts, what were they? 2,000 to 2,500 years old.
我们看右边的这个，同样的可以看到这个铸件上面呈现的这个图案是2500多年吧，在欧洲中部和欧洲的西部所发现的。
Next one.
下一幅。
This is Celtic. This is from Ireland. So again,
这是爱尔兰。
old, yeah, Ireland.
这是在爱尔兰。
Next one.
下一幅。
This is a Kuan Yin who is taking vibration. She has the world in one hand and she is taking vibrations. She has her hands open. And then again, she has the head, which is depicting the coming out of the Sahasrara.
这是在东亚的这个观音的塑像，我们可以看到他的手在释放生命能量，一手托着容器，另外一只手在发放生命能量。他头顶上面同样有这种类似于喷泉淋，就是顶轮能量喷洒的这种意象。
Next one.
下一幅。
So this is in Venice. This is the realization of, this is the depiction of Pentecost in the Cathedral of Saint Mark. And if you see the movement, you have the dome and it all goes to the center. All the energy merges towards the dove representing the collective unconscious, the spirit, and out of their head the energy is coming and you have little flames coming out. This is the depiction of the Kundalini.
这是我们在这个威尼斯看到的一个比较老的教堂的顶层，我们可以看到在每一位这个圣徒的头顶上方有释放出能量，然后最终聚合在一起，然后还可以看到有一个小小的火焰在每个人的这个能量上。
Actually, they are nourished by the energy coming from the dove, falling on their Sahasrara and giving them awakening.
可以看到自头顶上方能量传达给他们的顶轮，赐予他们自觉，唤醒他们。
Next one.
下一幅。
So this is the Alhambra. This is from the Moors who had come to live in Spain. This is maybe 1,200 years old, and it's the depiction of a Sahasrara. The Sahasrara is said to have 1,000 petals. Now, I didn't count how many alcoves there are, but I'm sure there are at least 1,000 there. And it's again dome-shaped, and it represents a Sahasrara.
我们可以看到这个是在西班牙2300年前的一个文物。我们可以看到，因为顶轮的一个描写是千瓣莲花，我当然没有数它有没有1000瓣，但是可以看到它的这个绽放的千瓣莲花的一个形态，这是对顶轮的一个描绘。
Next one.
下一幅。
Yeah, this is Egyptian. This is between 4,000 and 5,000 years old. So you see the Osiris, coming out. She is, if you want, she is the tree trunk. So this is a tree of life, and she pours water on to the two pharaohs and wife, and again they have, like the Buddhists also represent this dome on their head, representing the Kundalini and the Sahasrara, and the water which is poured on them gives them purification and realization.
我们可以看到这幅是4000到5000年前的这个古埃及的一个图画当中，可以看到生命之树，生命之树，它把它画成了一位女神的形象，它将生命能量抛洒在这一男一女的这个顶轮，给予他们知识和洗礼，净化他们的灵魂。我们同样可以看到这个头顶上这个发髻，是不是很像古代佛教徒头顶上的那个发髻？它这种拱形的这种堆积的这种形态，也依然是对顶轮的一个隐喻。
Next one.
我们看下一幅。
Yeah, so this is in the cathedral in Vienna, the Stephansdom, where you have the three energies which make the right side channel, the center channel, and the left side channel. So you have them represented as these three Marys, these three women, and you can see on the right hand side of the picture as we look at it, she's holding a sword, and she is the energy, the goddess who gives protection and fights the aggressor off.
接下来我们可以看，这是维也纳的天主教堂里面的一个塑像，可以看到它左右中分别代表3个能量通道。那么其中我们这个左手边这位，你看他手上拄着利剑，这表示他会清除所有来自这个通道的障碍。
Then you have on the left-hand side in the picture, she is holding a tower.
好，我们看这个另外一边呢，他手上拿的是像一个城堡一样的东西。
So she is the energy, she is the goddess of building, which means of creativity. Here, from there, everything got created.
你可以看到这个城堡意味着创造能力，建筑能力，所以从这个地方，各种行动、各种创造在发生。
And in the middle, after the creation has been done, the protection is guaranteed. Evolution can take place, and this is in representing that one generation after the other can come by the mother having a child on her lap.
我们看到在创造，就是创世完成之后，接下来的是要代表的力量是生进、演进、进化的力量。它呈现为一位母亲养育孩子，就是一代一代的传承，以这样的方式代表着进化的一个道路。
Voilà, and how old is that, Herbert? 600 years old?
Yeah, maybe more. 800, 900 years, maybe.
Yeah.
那应该是800年左右，这一组塑像。
Voilà, is this the last one?
这是最后一张了吧 ？Yeah, it's the last one. Yeah.
谢谢阿姨给我们介绍了这么，是我第一次看到哈，就是原来就是在全世界在这么多年前，其实已经在讲述这个昆达利尼的这样的一种现象，或者说这种力量或者这种特质，就是我们人类就是这么长时间来，好像就是 慢慢的就遗忘了，原来我们内在是有一个这个昆达里里在我们内在，在我们内生机制里面是存在的。
So it's like for 1,000 years, we already kind of know about Kundalini, but we just forgot about it.
It's not that it was forgotten,
其实
but
并不是被遗忘，
Sri Mataji allowed to have mass realization.
只是因为希勒马塔吉女士，她准许了在现在这个时代，就是大规模的自觉的发生。
The awareness that it is going to happen is thousands of years old.
当然，这将会实现的这种觉知，确实是有千年之久。
That the awakening of the Kundalini represents the epitome of human evolution.
但是能量的苏醒却是人类真正进化的开端。
But we had to evolve to that stage.
只不过我们需要进化到这一阶段来。
But this doesn't mean that in olden times, a person here, there, didn't had their realization, but it was not largely possible.
这并不意味着在全世界各地有零星的零星点点一些依然获得了自觉的一些先祖，但是它没有像现今可以有大规模的实现。
Herbert, you want to say something?
Yeah, you said it very beautifully. If I can, evolution is embedded in the flow of time. That means there were times when people were hunting to get food. Then people discovered agriculture. And then later on, they formed civilizations around cities where they all lived together. And then it moved on from there. So we call this evolution. And we realize, looking back in history, that there are big incision points where important things happened each time. Can we translate before I go on?
我们可以看到，这个其实它是一个进化的一个过程。人类文明最开始从普通的这个原始社会的狩猎，然后发展出逐步的初级的农业文明，然后逐步进展到比较先进的城市文明，然后从这个地方我们开展我们的革命。其实，在漫长的人类的这个发展的过程当中，有一些比较大的重要的节点。
So, in essence, where this is going is Srimataji told us that we are living in a very special time right now, where another one of these great jumps are happening. So it's not just a gradual thing for humanity, but it's a huge jump.
在本质上讲，我们这个时代很不一样。希勒马塔吉女士说，我们这个时代很不一样，会是人类发展一个很大的一个跳跃，一个质变的一个点，并不像之前的那种缓慢的量点，因为现在是一个质变的一个大的跳跃，对人类来讲。
And in this context, it's very interesting to mention that this famous Swiss philosopher and psychologist Carl Gustav Jung has somehow felt about all of this, though his time was before Sri Mataji started Sahaja Yoga.
其实有个非常优秀的思想家，哲学家荣格，他提前感知到了这一件事的发生。其实他的时代是在萨哈迦瑜伽之前的。
And he described it as this time that we live in right now as a very dramatic jump from a human being that is aware that we exist, as opposed to animals who are not aware that they exist, right?
龙哥他说，我们这个时代会发生一个巨大的跳跃。我们因为人类从一个可以感受到自我的生命体，因为动物是意识不到自身存在的。
So he said, we are currently moving from human awareness where we know that we exist. He called it Homo sapiens in Latin. We know we exist. To a human that understands that we in reality are a spiritual being, Homo spiritualis. Now the translators in thoughtless awareness.
看到，我们可以看到，从这个巨大的跳跃当中，我们会从人类意识，也就是知我在的状态，有一个巨大的跳跃，变成实现到灵在，就是知道我们的本质是灵的这样一种存在的意识状态。
And Sri Mataji calls it, we are living now in the blossom time. In blossom time, when in spring, that we are in the middle of it right now, all the plants are flowering, the trees are budding, and everybody feels that energy that is so different from what happened before.
希尔马他这里是把这个时代称之为一个叫繁荣的时代，开花的一个时代。在这个时代，我们每个人都能感受到有种巨大的不一样的能力的发生。
And it's really not a miracle. It is part of the evolution. We already made for that. The Kundalini is already in us since the beginning of time. It hasn't just happened now.
事实上，这其实并不神秘，因为这是一个实实在在的发生。能量一直在我们体内准备好着，一直在等待这一刻，所以它总是会有来到了这一天。
But now is the time, in blossom time, where it can happen en masse, meaning for many, many people at the same time.
现在是一个到了开花的季节，也就是说是一个大规模了，会有很多很多的花绽放，大规模的人获得自觉。
也好，这个就让我们觉得这个活在这个时代真的是一件非常荣幸的事情哈，就是能够获得知觉，能够让我们的能量在这个时代当中真的在我们内在它升起，然后在头顶开花，这是我们这个幸运的地方。
It's such an honor to be in this time, to be experience the Kundalini awakening.
不过呢，我想起那个幸运的话，我觉得这个大叔和大婶好像更幸运，因为你们见到了这个须玛达吉。我们身边有很多的瑜伽的练习者，有的时候他们会觉得就是会有一些沮丧哈，就是当我们在练习过程当中，有的时候也会碰到各种各样的这种困难。包括来自于工作，来自于生活，甚至包括来自于家庭，然后呢，慢慢的就会对这些东西会失去的信心。我们没有像大叔刚才体验到的那种巨大的喜悦，是那大叔和大婶能够给到我们有些怎么样子的建议呢
Yeah, we feel we are lucky in this time, but we also feel like you are more lucky than us because you have met Sri Mataji personally, and when you get any confusions, and the Sri Mataji can give advice. So like yeah, but when we feeling some frustration, disappointed in life or in family life, sometimes the people get lost and lose confidence. So did you have any advice, suggestion for that?
Catherine, go.
Yeah. Karuna, you are right. We were extremely privileged and blessed to be born at the time where we had the right age, that Shri Mataji could use us as being instruments to spread Saja Yoga to large parts of the world.
卡罗拉，你说的对，我们确实是无比幸运的人，因为我们刚好那个年纪，然后那个时代，在那个年龄刚好出生，然后，西热玛他吉女士能够把我们当成工具，在最开始的做这些伤害的传播的工作。
And to feel disheartened, I can understand. But be reassured that the connection to Shri Mataji doesn't depends on her physical form.
但是我想长话短说，就是其实与西热玛他吉女士的这种连接感，并不与她的肉身存在与否有多大的关系。
It doesn't depend on having been in her physical closeness, physically in her closeness.
与你实际上有没有跟西热玛他吉走得很近，在物理空间上隔得特别近这件事情，其实根本没有关系。
History of Saja Yoga has taught us that people who had been eventually very close to her had missed the point.
实际上，我们还有很多朋友跟我们分享说，有些离西热玛他吉女士走得特别近的人，反而完全错过了重点。
And they are nowhere to be seen today.
这些人现在已经完全不知道都去哪里了。
Our connection is through our sahasrara.
唯一的连接其实是透过顶轮来达成的。
And there we are all at the same level.
在顶轮，我们都是在一体，在同一个层次上。
In that sense, the divine has seen to it that wherever you are, because physically we need to be geographically somewhere, but that everybody has the same chance through the connection of our Kundalini with this collective unconscious in Ada Sahasrara.
在物理层面上，在地理位置上，我们每个人都需要处在不同的地理位置，但是神圣的能量与我们的连接是透过顶轮来达成的。只有在这个地方，我们才会与整个宇宙的集体潜意识，有着深深的连接。
Herbert?
Well, thank you, Catherine. As you were talking, I was just going through the book, The Advent, and in my version, I would like to just read a beautiful story that Gregoire tells about. It's on page 187, if you want to look for
This
it.
one?
I think it's the next one.
That one.
This one.
Okay.
So anyway, he says, Gregoire tells the story about the change in our relationship to our existence and to matter in particular. That change becomes so subtle and deep that in a sense, the essence of matter starts blossoming within us.
我其实是想读一下，在这个《降临》这本书，在老版本的187页，格雷高先生他有记载一下这件事情，就是这个意识的改变如此深刻，它让我们就是去到了这个，甚至在物理层面上体会到这种深刻的转变。
Gregoire says, at the same time, we are much better off in all the concrete daily aspects of our material life. We feel as if the angels are helping us once we have that connection. He recalls a case of a friend from Algeria called Jamel, who for months have tried to be admitted to a postgraduate school in London in those days. And despite his good qualifications, he had no success. And a few days before going back to Algeria, meaning while he was giving up, he paid a farewell visit to Sri Mataji. And she asked him, Jamel, when are you leaving? And he replied, on Sunday, Sri Mataji. And she said, why don't you leave on Tuesday? And he simply said, all right, Sri Mataji. So on Tuesday. On Monday, he decided to drop in at the London Polytechnic University. The registrar of the school told him, you are admitted. When do you want to start your course? So, yeah, let's translate that.
他有记载这样一件事情，就是当我们的意识状态产生这种深刻的连接的时候，我们甚至在生活层面上，就是在日常生活层面上都变得如此的不一样。这种感觉就好像有天使在帮助你一样，有天使围着你转一样。我们有一位朋友叫杰米尔，他当时在伦敦的一所大学里面，当时他的这些科目都没有通过，感觉已经无法毕业了。他决定回家去休学。那么当时他决定星期五走，然后母亲说：“你为什么不星期二走？”他说：“好的。”然后他在星期一的时候接到学校的电话说：“哎，你什么时候过来完成你的学业？”
So I think this short story is very important because for all the people that you mentioned earlier that feel that they may have difficulties in either their journey or to just trust or believe, none of the mental exercises will help. What helps is look inside yourself and find that desire that you want to become a spiritual being. Move away from whatever and wherever you are right now and become that spiritual being that you were set to become since the very beginning of your existence.
像这些，不管是学业上的一些很不可思议的奇迹，还是生活中的奇迹，然后你不要想着说用什么样精神上的方法，比如说用什么心理疗法，用什么心理暗示来通过它，这些你在思维层面上或情绪层面是试着去解决，其实是根本没有用的。你唯一做的是向内去找到你那个最原始、最本质、最核心、最纯洁的那个愿望，那就是成为您。离开你此刻着相的这些东西，执着的这些东西，去达成你在你的最生命、最开始生命之初一直渴望去真正实现的那个部分，成为您。
So I read you this story from the book, and one of the reasons is because it expresses something really, really important for all of us in Sahaja Yoga. And for those that are not yet in there, it's an invitation. Because in that story, the friend of Gregoire did not argue, why should I leave on Tuesday? Already bound to go on Sunday. He just surrendered and he said, all right. And then the magic happened and everything worked out to the best of a possible solution that he possibly could not have considered himself.
所以我读这个故事其实是一份邀请。如果你还没有开始决定去成为一个日常进行沙加瑜伽冥想的一位冥想的练习者， 或者说你已经在尝试。不管如何，你要知道，他在学业危机的时候，他并没有去想什么样的问题，用什么技巧去处理它，他只是简单的听从了建议，然后就是很大的奇迹发生。
Sri Mataji has described that surrender to letting things happen in a beautiful picture that I would like to explain to you now.
谢尔马塔吉女士说，就是臣服，允许事情以你生命中所应该经历的美好的状态发生，对你最好的状态发生，对你来说最好的形式结果发生。
It's about water. And if you think about it, there's only one element of water in the entire world, but it comes in many different forms, as blood in our body, as rain in the clouds, and in so many other forms, but it's still basically water.
就好像水只是一个单一的元素，但是它可以呈现为血液、云彩、瀑布、海洋，任何的所有的千万万种形态，湖泊大或小，但是本质上它依然就是水。
So imagine you are one of these small droplets hanging in a rain cloud high above the sea after water has been evaporated from there.
想象你只是一滴小水珠，在云层之中，在水面蒸发之后，你在云层的某一处。
And then the rain starts falling.
然后开始下雨了。
And you, the water drop, join all the others on the journey.
你与其他的水珠一开始了这趟旅程。
And you have limitations, right? You have a shape, you have a size, you may have a weight, and maybe even the contents on a microscopic level are different from all the other water drops around you.
当然，你有你的特殊性，比如说你的形状、你的大小，或者在显微镜里面看你携带的尘埃或者成分不一样。
So in that short time, as you're leaving the cloud, falling towards the ocean, you have an individual existence.
只是从云层变成雨水掉入海洋这段过程中，你有一段属于你个人的旅程。
But then the magic happens.
然后奇迹发生了。
Once you fall into the ocean, you lose your individuality to a certain extent.
当你一旦滴入在海水之中，你的个体标记突然消失了，在某个层面。
And remember, nothing of what was within you is lost. It's still there.
只是你知道，你并没有失去自己。
All you have lost is your limitation, because now you became the ocean.
你唯一失去的是你的限制，失去了你的框架，因为你现在变成了海洋。
So in a way, this story is trying to explain with this picture of a rain cloud and drop falling down to the ocean and becoming one of the ocean. It's trying to explain what happens when our Kundalini rises and connects us to that dimension that is known as the unconscious.
所以这一段关于水、关于云朵、雨水汇入到海洋的这件事情，这个隐喻，其实他说的就是我们的意识融到宇宙集体潜意识中的一个过程。
So enjoy the journey while it lasts as you as an individual, but look forward to that magical moment when you become one with everyone.
所以呢，祝你有一个很棒的旅程，属于你自己个人的旅程，但是 注定会成为一个通向无限的消融掉自我的旅程。
哇，好美的画面。叔，你知道吗？你在讲这段话的时候哈，我们这个直播间里面有很多人在点赞哈，就是一直在那儿点赞。现在已经是中国的北京时间10点了，那么晚，我都以为是可能很多人都洗睡了。但是真的在大叔讲这段话的时候，这么美的画面啊，真的让你看到现在还在那儿点赞，真的让人很触动。
Well, thank you for your beautiful story. We still have so many audience in the room, and they are so sharing. They are thank you for your sharing. It's already 10 o'clock in China, but still they are still there.
So, thank you. 顺着这个哈，就是大家都还在，如果大家还想要有什么想问的哈，就趁着这个，真的已经很晚了。不过我们就是哈，今天很难得的这个机会，如果大家还有什么问题想问大叔和阿姨呢，我们也可以继续问。顺便我想跟阿姨和大叔说一个，我们这个直播间里面这个屏幕就是那个弹出来的啊，就是他们发的言的，有一个这个。观众瑜伽士，他来自于国外，应该来自于德国，他的名字叫Barbara 和 Victor， 他的丈夫叫 Victor 这个 Arestov， 他这个阿姨他们认识你，这个你能记得吗？这个阿姨，那个刘谦赶紧翻译。
Yeah, we get audience new words in our chatting room, and she's they are from foreign country, and they say they know you. Her name is, I think, is Victor Barbara.
Victor 是她的丈夫，Barbara 她妻子。
Victor is the husband, Barbara is the wife. They said they know you.
Do you know?
From Germany?
Yes, 他翻译那个这本就是降临的书，他翻成德文，他是把这本降临这本书翻译成德文版。
She's the one who translating the Advent become German language.
So it's like a big family meeting here.
Yeah.
A big global family meeting.
全球家人大聚会啊。
Yes. 是，没错。他们现在在这个杭州，其实他们知道，他们看到你的这个节目，就他们很激动，在这边跟你这个问候，虽然就是不能够出现这个不能够面对面哈，就是他们给到一个非常这个很温暖的问候给到阿姨和大叔。
They want to say there's a big hello to you because they are right now in Hangzhou. Actually, they are in Hangzhou in China, and they see your program and they feel so happy, and they want to say a big hello to you.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
We are so lucky.
OK， 我们知道这个月，我们这个大叔和阿姨一直都谈到了这个徐玛达吉女士。这个月3月21号也是徐玛达吉女士这个诞辰的这个日子。这个在我们节目这个接近这个尾声的时候，能不能请阿姨和大叔给我们分享一个关于你们记忆当中，就是在此时此刻印象最深刻的关于徐玛达吉的分享。
So in this month, in the 24th of May, will be Sri Mataji's 101 birthday. So in the end of this program, would you please share a little story, like when you are with Sri Mataji or anything, like you want to share this moment?
Please, Katrin.
Oopsla, what's happened to me? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Yes, it's a difficult question. There are too many moments. I think
Yeah.
问题太难了，因为有很多故事，有很多瞬间在我脑海里面。
the magic is that, you know, I am still in Saja Yoga, that Shri Mataji still accepts me in her being, in her body, and that I still can feel the connection, her guidance, her help. She guides me in my growing, which still needs, you know, a lot of work. And her presence is there. Little details in life, infinite little details in life, but it just shows you that her hand is over us. And this is an ongoing, eternal magic.
这个问题其实非常难回答，因为此刻我脑海中有很多那些画面、那些记忆。但是我觉得最大的奇迹应该是此时此刻，一直到今天，我依然，希勒马塔基女士依然没有放弃我，我依然感觉到我在她之中，我在她身体之中，我依然能感受到这份强烈的连接，这份引导，这份帮助，是我依然很需要的，因为她依然在持续的这样做。我觉得在茫茫人海之中，在生命无限种可能当中，我握住了她的手。我觉得这对我来说，这就是一个永远没有停止的最大的奇迹。
Do we still have time for a little story about this connection that Catherine just mentioned?
Yes.
Right. So a while ago, I used to live in Germany, in Frankfurt, and I knew that Shri Mataji would be in France in one of the next days for a public program.
那段时间我其实在法国，在法兰克福，在德国法兰克福，然后我听到消息，希勒马塔基女士会有段时间会去法国做一个公开活动。
So we were busy in Frankfurt with some Sahaja yogis that we already lived there together, preparing for our own program that would be very soon in the future.
当时我们几个瑜伽士都生活在一起，然后我们为自己准备了一个公开活动，正在做密切的筹备。
But somehow I felt very strongly that I really want to go and get to Paris to be at this program with Shri Mataji.
但是当时心中却产生了一个很大的愿望，因为我们集体在法兰克福正准备做自己的公开活动，但是我内心有个很强的渴望，就是马上去巴黎，去到母亲的身边。
So without losing any time, I decided I'll go, and I jumped in the car and started driving. It's about, I don't know, 800, 900 kilometers maybe.
当时我就想都没想，我直接就上车就开车往巴黎赶，当时要开800到900英里吧。
And for some reason that I was not aware of, I also put my guitar into the trunk of my car.
我当时也没有想到，我车背后竟然放着我的吉他。
So this was a public program in Paris that Shri Mataji was giving, and I arrived exactly at the moment when Shri Mataji arrived as well at that place.
因为当时母亲希勒马塔基要在巴黎做活动，然后我抵达的那一刻，刚好是希勒马塔基女士走进会场的那一刻。
I had my guitar in my hand at that moment, and Shri Mataji looked at me and she said, Oh, it's good that you came. We need some music before the program to help lighten up the vibrations a little bit.
母亲看到我说，哎，我很高兴看到你来。我们刚好在活动开始前需要有一些音乐，能够让整个能量场提升一下整个能量场的状态。
So there were some other friends, musicians around us at that moment. So we went on stage and we started to make some music. What I'm trying to say here with this story is nobody told me in Frankfurt that I should go, in the sense that no physical person told me or sent me a message, whatever. It was just an inspiration, a feeling in the heart.
我想说的，然后我们马上就与当地的一位音乐家，我们两个马上上台就开始这一段表演。然后我想说的是，其实我们在法兰克福的时候，没有任何人给我传达消息，我身边没有任何人跟我讲过任何一句话，但是内心的那种启迪、那种信号却是如此的明显，如此的清晰。
So going back to what you said earlier in your question, that some people may lose confidence or may lose the will even to go further on their journey or anything. What I'm trying to tell them is listen inside. Listen. Sri Mataji will tell you what is needed and when and how. If you learn to listen to that from your heart, not from your brain, but from your heart, your journey will become much more joyful, pleasant, and maybe even faster.
所以我想说的是，刚才那个问题说，有人在生活中遇到一些问题，觉得失去了信心，甚至不再继续自己的旅程。我想说的是，其实你要去听自己的内心，去听自己内心。你会听到希尔玛塔吉女士对你的指引的，她会告诉你该去做什么，她会告诉你什么时候刚刚好，在哪个时候要去做什么，去听从自己的心，而不是去听自己大脑里面计划的那一套。如果你能这样做的话，你的旅程可能会变得有趣，甚至是更快。
Saja yoga is a journey within. That's what I wanted to say.
我想说的是，萨迦瑜伽就是一个内在的旅程。
谢谢。刚才阿姨想说什么吗？她有什么补充吗？
Auntie, you wanted to add something?
No, listen, I'm really, really sorry, but I have a program going to start in 15 minutes at home. So I added half an hour, but thinking we might go over it. But, you know, another time with greatest pleasure, it was an honor to be here and that you accepted and listened to me. That was very kind and generous of you all. But unfortunately, I have to leave you now.
这个就是还有15分钟，我家里面的一个活动就要开始了，所以我非常荣幸能够跟你们分享，也非常高兴，很感谢你们给我这么长的时间，愿意听我的分享。我很愿意再次跟你们相聚，只不过我现在就是必须得下线了。
谢谢这个阿姨，我们的确是今天的时间真的是我们已经接近有3个小时了。希望以后有更多的机会能够邀请阿姨来到我们的这个直播间。如果说阿姨现在就是有事情的话，可以你看，因为我们的确节目也快到了这个尾声了。
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, we really go over. I think it's almost 3 hours now. So yeah, we come to the end of the program now. So you wanted to you can leave us for now. if you needed to.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Jai Shri Mataji to all my
感
thanks.
谢你们，
Bye-bye.
感谢你们所有人。
Thank you for having us.
感谢你们邀请，感谢大家的邀请。
那 OK， 谢谢，好，谢谢我们这个所有的嘉宾，我们所有的这个嘉宾，还有这个翻译，还有包括我们的这个观众朋友们，一直好3个小时在这儿。我想最后以喜马大姐的一句话来结束我们的这个今天的这个直播。喜马大姐说，我们的呼吸是很简单的，我们不会为它阅读任何的书籍，也不会为了呼吸做任何的练习。我们不需要去到任何人那儿去学习，我们只是呼吸。同样的，如果我们追寻有所意义，我们必须去找到什么，那是最重要的事情，而不仅仅只是一种替代的生活。所以说，我们只祝我们新海事贝读书分享会，我们祝福所有的人不管是刚刚练习的，还是我们的已经练习很久的上家瑜伽士练习者，我们都像这个大叔所说的，像一颗水珠。去奔向那个大海，奔赴大海，去走向这么一个美妙的向内的旅程。谢谢我们观众的朋友们我们晚安，谢谢大叔。
Thanks everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Herbert.
Recording stopped.